Welcome to our short video. Today's discussion is about the finance audit security disruption and what it means to organizations that run on SAP, and how the KPI Analyzer Security Pathfinder helps decision makers control the disruption. The new security standards require 2022 compliance, which affect every industry around the globe. Because of the recent and ongoing vulnerability of the power grid, the risk at SAP Utilities industry customers is an important place to begin. Our expert panel today includes John Brandis, who has managed ops at nuclear plants like Florida Power and Light and ComEd. Jim Vilwalk is a business and finance executive with audit and control experience in multiple Fortune 500 companies. And Dwayne Jorgensen is an audit expert and former principal at Arthur Andersen. Let's start with an operations perspective. John?
The electrical grid is essential to sustainable business. A loss of electricity affects everything, including the SAP computer systems, causing companies to shut down. This is where the criteria for the new audit standards comes in. CIOs are required to identify all users of custom code with dialogue and document types in the IT system's technical architecture. In this huge drain on IT resources, reallocation of resources from daily activities will jeopardize production for the duration of the audit. The IT staff will be required to manually search, identify, download data for further evaluation. SAP enterprise systems are complex. Isolating all the data is very labor intensive. If you gut the IT department resources to support the audit, then the company's operation will be greatly disrupted. In today's global situation, it's obvious that every company must think differently about this audit for financial security while considering the internal resource demands on the company. Let's look at this. The confusion arises when the company CFO comes back to the operations IT support team repeatedly saying, I need this and this and this because the auditors are coming in very soon. This leads to serious consequences. If you simply shelve operation projects and put others on hold, then the urgency turns into panic, especially at utilities that interface with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So there's a risk again. Keeping the SAP systems up and running for daily ops is essential. The audit is a very large effort necessary to reduce the risk and boost the auditor's trust about the security standard compliance. SAP offers a free tool for the fast as-is technical readiness assessments, but only at a high level of data. The audit requires SAP transaction codes to be examined individually. If the code meets the risk threshold of the audit standard, the code, users of the code, documents must be downloaded. And of course, every time humans are involved in the process, the risk of human error and rework increases. The problem is the audit is coming now, requiring 2022 compliance. Manual workshops can take many, many months, even a year for multiple SAP systems. Dwayne knows all about this problem.
Very true, John. My audit consulting work has taken me inside enterprises of all types, including those that run on SAP. The truth is that a company needs an end-to-end process to handle today's audit standards. Actual data from over 1,900 assessments shows 45% of SAP systems typically run custom code, and 75% of it is unused or extremely old and not state-of-the-art. The IT silo approach is no longer realistic for audit requirements. The as-is assessment deep dive into the technical architecture is essential. But first, the company must identify the risk universe for the SAP custom code. The company then develops a process to internally parse the risk by high, medium, and low. In doing so, this determines what risk is acceptable to the company versus what risks are significant enough to trigger negative consequences, such as the failure of an external audit. At this point, technical architects must run a process to check them all out and make sure that they're being properly covered in risk mitigation practices. And at that end, the company gives the final to the auditors. Now the good news. This is the age of intelligent apps, and there's an app for this critical end-to-end process to avoid what John was saying. Gut the IT team's support of day-to-day operations. The Westtrax company's automated assessment app actually parses the as-is risk. A special configuration named KPI Analyzer Security Pathfinder parses custom code in a factual format that complies with the revised audit standards and also aligns with external audit forms. This app is hugely compatible with SAP technology. It's built on the SAP Business Technology Platform. The Security Pathfinder's KPIs are deep in the technical architecture, isolating every custom code user and document types usage in the SAP ERP system. The app produces all this factual output data in just one day. The automation helps alleviate risk of human errors from this process. More than 1,900 WestTrax automated assessments have been run across 15 industries, many at utility companies. Of course, there are apps that technical teams use to remediate custom code issues, but these are used after the custom code usage data is isolated. When I consider the company's internal end-to-end process, the KPI Analyzer Security Pathfinder is unique. It reduces both internal costs and external audit fees when used properly as part of the risk mitigation process. It doesn't sit inside the SAP system. It's a cloud app subscription to the CIO and company internal audit team can run over and over to provide proof to the auditor that technical work is underway to remediate risk before, during, and after the audit. I even saw examples of how the app is used to monitor technical effort work down curves, to control costly rework that SAP calls regret spending. I can't think of a better way to make auditors happy, especially when they work inside enterprise and large enterprises running multiple SAP systems.
Thanks, Dwayne. Now let's consider the merry-go-round that John pointed out. CFOs don't want a shell of operations projects simply to prepare for the financial audit. SAP reports that 77% of the world's business transaction revenue touches SAP systems. The finance security risk is huge. CFOs have been reviewing the new audit requirements for 2022 compliance. And this is an ongoing discussion with the CEO and the board. Yet, when I analyze the situation at companies today, the CFO is handicapped by the first step in the audit preparation. Why? The CFO needs the company's CIO to produce all the as-is factual evidence. But the CIO doesn't have the bodies in the company to throw at this. So, before the audit and when the dust settles, after every annual audit, the CIO talks to the CFO and the CFO talks with the CEO and the CEO talks with the company's board. But everyone is consumed by the sustainable ongoing business priorities. Yet, in this new audit environment, risks have considerable impact on lost business opportunities, plus the company's internal resources, as well as fees paid to their technology consulting company and their audit firm. Now, that being said, the bottom line remains the deep dive data is required for the audit, plus critical for cost-effective technical remediation work in order to alleviate the risk and boost auditor trust. Audit standards essentially say that if a company gives the auditors a control process in IT that shows everything is under control and the auditors can replicate the process, then external auditors can simply test once, get the same answers, and see, and the auditor is done. Auditors also look at the control process. They can continuously review in order to update the status of any changes that need correcting throughout the year. And this reduces the risk of future noncompliance, the end-to-end process that Dwayne spoke about. Boosting trust in the audited security of financial data to help protect against custom code, user fraud, and breaches by hackers that can gain authorization access from custom code usage. As a business and financial executive, I believe this message needs to urgently get out to all SAP customers and the SAP ecosystem. For example, SAP itself can help their customers if SAP leaders will spread this message about the KPI Analyzer Security Pathfinder to SAP AEs who also face their customers. And this 360-degree app will help customers alleviate the audit pain that's coming this fall and winter. Then, decision makers could quickly move to maintain IT resources focusing on day-to-day operations without neglecting their support for the audit. I can't think of a better way for SAP and their partners to help SAP customers.
Now, you can visit us at the Acquired Insights webpage at www.aiinc.cloud to read a white paper about the new IAASB ISA 315 standard, its impacts, and the KPI Analyzer. The page includes several short articles on this, plus information about deliverables for the KPI Analyzer Security Pathfinder. Then, call me directly on our toll-free number at 1-800-627-4151 or email us at info@aiinc.cloud to learn more. We look forward to hearing from you.